Welcome to today's episode. We have a very exciting guest joining us. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are GDG Media. We specialize in helping staffing and recruiting agencies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your staffing and recruiting agency to the next level, make sure you stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, drop us the word growth in our DMs. Cassie, thank you so much for hopping on today.
Hi, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So you are the managing partner and co-founder of DK Recruiting. Do you want to do a quick intro about yourself, the company, and then we'll hop into some questions here?
Sure. Obviously, my name's Cassie, and DK Recruiting is a company that we founded about 10 years ago. I think that's something we'll get into. But we continue to do what we set out to do, which is to help early stage startups, usually seed to Series C, technology companies, scale their cross-functional teams. So we are a full cycle shop, whether that's sales, go-to-market teams, engineering. We built our company to serve cross-functionally and help them grow and meet their next moment. And eventually we work ourselves out of the job by setting up the infrastructure and the system for them to run independent of us, recruiter, and then augment.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. So going back 10 years ago, I guess, what were some of the earliest challenges that you guys faced when trying to scale this out? Because I think a big issue that a lot of business owners face is they want to scale, but they don't want to lose the quality of their service. So, how are
Yeah.
you able to manage that?
Well, I think the word scale is an important one because we set out, frankly, to be a boutique shop, partially because some of the required dilution of quality that you need to scale, at least back then, wasn't of interest for us, right? We also don't lead with the candidates as our sales enablement, if you will. We're prioritizing the companies and what their hiring goals are. Our job is to deliver for them. We close 95% of every role we take on. And so
Nice.
I think that capped our scale to some degree because we had to stay laser focused on what business problems were we solving for our clients with what kind of people, right?
Right.
That said, plenty of problems with scale, both hindsight lessons learned and market challenges. When we got started, it was actually with my mom. My mom and I founded DK together. She's now since retired, but she left a large ad tech digital media company to start DK.
Okay.
I was building the business at night. At the time, I was in marketing and event planning, and I gave my boss a 1 year notice and said, hey, I'm building this business at night. My mom and I have a vision to help our startup friends and founders with scaling their teams and bringing the business acumen that we think they deserve in a people partner. Um, I'm getting a little bit off track, so I'll come back to your actual question, which was what challenges did we have for scale? Well, one was I wasn't a recruiter, so I was nobody to everybody, right?
Right.
And why would a company take a shot on me to build their teams? I had to get really creative with my pricing to secure my first couple of clients. And so I would go to a lot of ad tech events like Think LA, here locally in Los Angeles. And a couple of early stage digital media companies understood I had the business acumen and understood my expertise of their landscape, but they didn't think I had the network or the clout. And so I had to say, don't pay me a contingency fee when I place your person, pay me when my person makes their first sell. And
Gotcha.
that that got me to scale because that got me the opportunity to go to bat and to deliver.
Right.
And we've always been almost 100% referral based business. So
Nice.
scaling came from being creative enough up front. I
Right.
The first year in business, I did 100 resumes pro bono for executives. And that was my networking. What value do I have to offer them? It's not my clout,
Right.
it's not my network, but I do know how to position sellers. That's what I was doing at my last job as well, was helping sellers be thought partners and go basically showcase their expertise to the market. And I was able to
Right.
do that well. And that built a network in hindsight that then powered our clientele and helped us scale.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. So obviously that takes a lot of guts to do that up front. Not a lot of people, are willing to bet on themselves like that. Um, I guess, can you walk us through just kind of the mindset that you think it takes to be in this space? Obviously, it's a super competitive, super saturated market, right? So, what
Mhm.
type of qualities do you think someone needs to be successful in this type of space?
I think it's the same qualities anyone needs when they're building something and going out of the box, which is, are you really passionate about the problem you're solving? Not, do you want to own a recruiting business?
Right.
Right. So, thankfully, my mom and I and the partners that the teams we built along the way since were insanely passionate about helping founders meet their next milestones and scaling culture from the ground up. And that was what we have been passionate about. So that's one, is what problems are you solving and do you care the most? Right. Um, the other is you're failing out loud at times. So owning your mistakes, being accountable to them, right? If I had a client, and I should take a step back, what does good look like for you is important upfront. Okay. We decided really on what good looked like for us. It looked like saving our founders or our hiring managers an immense amount of time, securing talent better and faster than they could themselves. And then we started to put metrics around that. So to me, that meant if I'm interviewing 40 people that I've handpicked that look great on paper, I'm presenting 5, and 3 of those should move forward, and I'm tracking them. And if I'm off on that ratio, then something's wrong. I'm missing the mark. And that's my accountability mark to go back and say, hey, I'm not happy with my standard. Got to calibrate. Right.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, walk me through a little bit your background before you got into recruiting,
Mhm.
right? And what skills you think transferred over and allowed you to be successful in this space? Because obviously they're similar, but they are different in the same breath.
Yeah. So I think it started before I knew where I was going. And that was frankly high school. From 14 to 22, I was in hospitality as my side hustle, as my job. So I dealt with people all the time and was really energized by it. I studied communications. My minor was entrepreneurship at UCSB. And I was recruiting at times investors, advisors, and business leaders to come in and speak to the classrooms and to the school. And I loved getting to connect people and watch them create something far greater than either of them could have done on their own. It was this like zest. I got into marketing because I like storytelling and it was fun. Um, and so that helped understanding brand positioning, right? Helping a sales team position themselves as experts in their field, planning events, curating people to create an experience where they all got value out of it was nuanced, but there were some building blocks there that directly apply to recruiting. I think lastly is remembering, like, I think it was Henry Ford that said if I asked customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. So remembering that the client or the person you're trying to add value to doesn't always know what they need. That's true when you ask someone what kind of wine they want when you're serving. That's true when you're guessing what your partner wants for their birthday, right? Anticipating need and asking the right questions, being a journalist in some ways, in whatever capacity you're serving someone, translated really well to every job I've ever had, building this firm included.
Okay.
That
That's
makes
fair.
sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
So I think a lot has changed in the business world over the last 5 years. So let alone 10, I'm sure it has been a lot different, right?
Mm.
Since you first started to now. Um, what I guess, are you utilizing AI or technology in any way, um, either on the talent acquisition side or even the, um, I guess, the acquisition side, like getting new clients?
Yes, absolutely. Not on the getting new client side, I will
Right.
say, unless you count, training GPT to understand our brand tone, our voice, and helping me write content faster. In theory, it's an indirect way of expert positioning
Right.
that I can now do. But other than that, we're a very relationally driven business. People work with
Okay.
us if they know us. For better or worse, I have not found AI to scale us properly on the sales
Right.
side.
Right.
On the other side, so far, AI has served to automate the mundane or automate something that is on the back end, right? So for example, we submit what we call a DK summary when we present a candidate. Maybe the candidate has a resume, maybe they don't because they're not in market. If I'm going to present them and I know they're good, we have the same format that we give, basically the back end of a resume. What did we learn? Why did they align with that job? And where would we probe further if we had more time?
Right.
In an interview, right, you can use Zoom as you are now with your AI, Fireflies, whatnot, and track your notes. We'll take those and put those into GPT. We've trained it with a custom prompt to take all those notes and format it into the format that we run with. And that saved me an hour, maybe at most 30 to 60 minutes in presenting a candidate to a client.
Right.
So you do that enough times and it saves a lot.
Yeah.
We were on Salesforce and we custom built our Salesforce environment over 7 years to hold us as an ATS system and CRM because 10 years ago, there weren't a lot of good recruiting tech stacks out there. Over the last year or so, we actually switched to Recruit CRM and it's baked with AI, right? AI is in most tools, whether it's called AI or not. So
Right.
Recruit CRM is a great CRM system that is optimized with AI. We built custom prompts to indicate a lot of the research on industry trends. This goes two ways, right? One is in startup land, whether it's VC backed, bootstrapped, or owned by private equity, everything's shifting. So, which candidates have I had my eye on where they're now at 3 years and 6 months in their startup? They're about to vest their equity. Okay, now's a good time to go re engage with them. Or which company just got acquired to where there might be some movement and disposition and some really good talent, right? Which company just acquired a net new, maybe B2B2C solution for where they're going to have to go build a net new team because they've been a B2B company for the last 20 years. Those types of back end indicators help us be a lot smarter with our strategy. So rather than
Right.
searching like a detective, right, we're served up actionable insight that we can value, inquire, or connect with people a lot more intelligently and a lot faster than we could have before.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So I guess if we were to sit down, let's just say a year from now on the same podcast, and I don't need any specifics here, but if you just want to give me a general overview, what type of goals would you like to see accomplished in your business for you to say, okay, that was a successful 12 months that we had?
Okay, that's a good question. So a year from now, July 23, 2026. Well, I'll tell you the big question I'm asking now, and I think it'll forecast that, which is how do we ensure that we are, in fact, the best option for the types of clientele that we work with when it comes to recruiting? And what I mean by that is, let me take a step back. Our clientele, right? They've got maybe 5 million funding, 10 million funding, but they've got to meet their next moment and their targets. And cash is king for them.
Mhm.
Okay. So we've come up with 3 different models that we run our business off of. There's the standard contingency, everyone knows. We have something called retingency, which is a more affordable play for executive search. There's a 5 to 15K upfront deposit, non-refundable, and it gets applied to the end fee like a deposit would when we place the person. Okay, so there's a low cash commitment up front to secure an executive search. And the third model we run is a retainer, but retainer is a very generic word. So our retainer runs like a flat rate, 4-month commitment. We run a set number of roles at all times. That could be 3 roles, 4 roles, 7 roles, but it's a flat rate. You can put a director and an executive assistant on there. It doesn't matter. And that gives them pricing predictability and almost an RPO. Okay.
Okay.
Also, we just adjusted our contingency models and we're testing a flat rate model instead. Because today, let's say you're hiring a head of sales and your range is 150 to 300K base. That's a major fluctuation in your contingency costs to partner with an agency, right? Yeah. How do you decrease that margin of error in your forecast when cash is tight? So we're trying to solve for pricing now. I think we've got that in a really good spot. What I haven't yet come to terms with is if I'm consulting my clients at this earlier stage, seed A, maybe B, in how best they can recruit. My worry is a year from now, I might tell them, I think your best bet is to hire 2 in-house recruiters and optimize them with a wonderful, smart tech stack. Okay. So my job is to compete and beat with what I think is going to be in their best interest. Because if I can't deliver and innovate fast enough to where we are in their best interest, then that's a big problem, because our entire business success is because we always do what's in the candidate and the client's best interest, period, even if it's not profitable, right? So a year from now, success is we have identified how to be the best option for our clients, even in the face of AI transformation and workforce shifts that are coming, because they are, and they're huge.
Yeah. So what is your thoughts on like how to get around that? Do you have any thoughts on that yet? Or
yeah, I mean, look, I think, and we're also talking about a very specific sector, right? I don't necessarily know if large corporate companies are going to face the same challenges or need the same solutions, but a get around it would be, one is what's predictability and pricing. 2 is how can we make sure that AI is solving the right things, because AI is going to offer to solve everything and it's not going to be true, right? So getting around that would be delivering faster, better, with less time taken from the hiring manager and our time with them taken purely to add value beyond the hire, which is what we do now. My short answer really is I don't know how we get around it. We're testing.
Right. No, that's fair. That's part of being an
I think
entrepreneur. So I get it.
yeah, I think you get around it by naming it and owning it, by literally being curious. I talk to in-house recruiters all the time. Sometimes we are the sole recruiting team for our clientele, right? We work with them on average for 4 to 8 years. Maybe we placed 83% of their staff at that point. There's other clients like Appfolio, a B2B IPO prop tech company that we worked with for 4 years, placed 90 marketers there, and worked in hand with their in-house TA teams. So I learn a lot from them and with them, and vice versa. I think how you get around it is you test it and you fail fast. You figure out what can we bring that they don't have. One of them is perspective that they're far too close to know. So the only way we'll get around it is by adopting AI quickly on the back end, but refusing to give up the human connection and the thought strategy on the front end.
Right. And then let's say hypothetically, only looking at internal factors, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was to give you a magic wand to fix one thing in your business right now, that's either slowing you down or holding you back from reaching the goals that you mentioned. What is that one thing that you fix internally today?
I would say it's not so much fix, but elevate our client portals. Okay, so our systems and the things that we've built can allow our clients to go see their full pipeline, both who we're sourcing, who we've vetted, who we've declined, who we've presented. Getting that to a point that's easier for the clients to access on a regular basis and interact with us on would be huge for us. So that's one that I'd fix right away. That would
Okay.
also allow us to focus on our reporting and our analytics. We give our clientele a lot of reporting and analytics on internally our pipeline and what we see, right? Let me say this clearer. Fix internally. Okay. Our clients need data, and as a recruiting firm that is boutique and bespoke, we're able to feel the pebbles on the ground of trends and of candidate feedback and perspective before it becomes a boulder that's a headline in a newspaper for a client to hear about, right?
Right.
And so what we can fix to be able to elevate our value is how do we quickly take our first party data and take advantage of AI web scrubbing data companies out there to pull the macro data and give them bite-sized actionable views of the market, their target talent, talent pools, and the perspective of their business faster so it can be actionable, so they can pivot quick. Because agility for them is everything. We do that now, but it's clunky. It takes us time. And I like it to be something that has more rhythm, cadence, and consistency to it. We don't have that yet. And if we can fix that, I think we can uncap a lot of potential for our clientele.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, do you want to do a quick outro, let people know where they can find more information about you, the company, and then I'll wrap up some things on my end?
Sure. So dkrecruiting.com, you can find us there. I'm also on LinkedIn. I post fairly regularly, so you can contact me there. And we look forward to hearing from you and anyone else who wants to talk shop or explore pitfalls and opportunities of hiring in startup world.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for hopping on, Cassie. As always, anyone listening in who might have a staffing or recruiting agency looking to grow your revenue, drop us the word growth in the DMs and we will set that up. I appreciate it, Cassie.
Thank you so much.